It's one of the last independent tracks on the circuit and where we call home. That's right, it's Pocono Raceway, and we've got you covered for the occasion with the latest news, plus our picks for all three series of NASCAR. Let's get a weekend of on-track betting coverage fired up with a brand new episode of The Backroad coming right at you.
What's good, everybody? Welcome into the Backroad. It is In Between Media's NASCAR betting show, and it is the most wonderful time of the year because it's Pocono weekend, and for a third year running, we'll be bringing you at the track coverage. It's going to be exciting. My name's Elliot Hicks. With me is Seth Woolcock, just as you will be at the track starting tomorrow, bud.
Oh, here we go, brother. We're locked in. I wrote about it in this week's column over at bettingpros.com, Elliot, and I touched on your home track just hits different, man. It means more, especially here in Pennsylvania where we don't get a lot of NASCAR coverage usually. So great to have that back. And especially this year, I feel like we've been working so hard here, both on the In Between Media YouTube channel, the Backroad, and just the company as a whole, doing different things, working with some new partners. It's been a lot of fun. And with the help of our awesome team, it's looking like I'm going to be making it up to the track early tomorrow, really get to soak this weekend in with you. And maybe the best part about all of it is that I feel like we're not on an island this year. We'll have the entire IBT Racing family just at the touch of the button, in our pocket and ready to drop some updates there as soon as we have them, as well as here on the IBT Media YouTube channel as well. So make sure you guys are subscribed, ring the bell so you don't miss a moment of betting content coming for you from Pocono this weekend.
Yeah, let's continue to plug that. We're going to have lots of exciting stuff, I'm sure, in the IBT Racing Family Discord chat that we got. $3.99 a month or $36 for the year. That's less than $1 per race. Gives you access to our exclusive weekly betting model, which has been routinely the best spot to get the best bets. You can chat with myself, with Seth, with Rod, with all of our great IBT Racing family. We even had coverage from Anthony, who was at the track at Mexico City, so that was especially cool. So it's not just us that gives you the benefit. It's everybody that's already in there, and shout out to everybody. It also gives you entry into memorabilia giveaways, travel in our Joey Logano polo last week, and we might include the little merch tents at Pocono, grab something to give away. We'll have to see. We'll just see where the wind takes us, I guess, once we're down at the Tricky Triangle. Shout out to our new members and shout out to everyone still to come. We'd really love to have you over there.
Yeah, it was a great week to see our guy Anthony Taco Boy down there rolling in it in Mexico and having a great time. And the model was dead on, man. It said bet SVG. And we bet SVG. That was fun. I said bet Christopher Bell. We should have bet Christopher Bell. He was third in the model. He had a great run despite, poor qualifying and, pretty run of the mill, pretty what I expected. And so that was fun. But the model just keeps swinging hot, man. And more than anything, just the vibes of the community has been really fun lately. So appreciate everyone who's hanging out with us. Trav, don't forget to get in touch with us. We owe you a Joey Logano polo autograph. Make sure you're getting in touch with us though and letting us know where we can send that. Looks like we got some friends in the chat already. I saw again we had some this morning, Elliot. Came in at 8, 9 a.m. Stan, Marcus were in the chat, but we got Stan here at 5 saying Chase Elliott will appease his restless fans with a win on Sunday. I wouldn't hate that. I think that's very, very possible, Stan. Marcus saying, hey, everyone, who's your pick for Pocono? Going after Christopher Bell once again. And then Nick saying, what's up? How about SVG winning last Sunday? What a surprise. Also, some Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Ty Gibbs action from our guy Nick. And also TK in the chat. What's up, TK? Saying, was happy to see SVG finally not have any major issues on a road course, yet they did still have a lot of problems. They certainly did. It was not a walk in the park by any means.
Yeah, just in a moment, we'll break that down in the review. I feel like even though the model said SVG, I feel like a sheep farmer in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand also could have said to bet SVG, and it worked out. We'll give you news updates and storylines to watch this weekend that we'll be monitoring at the track. that we've built through the week. Then in our Horizon forecast, we will break down Pocono and then give you our parking garage props for Cup, Xfinity, and the Truck Series. And like I said, we'll mention this multiple times tonight. Be ready for bonus shows, bonus content, stuff from at the track. We'll be out there. We'll be out there with videos, whether we do live or not is one thing, whether we will be throwing out tweets. This is the best weekend to follow us, I feel like, because we'll be there. We're not just doing it from our studios and from our living rooms. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we can fully get in to the Pocono stuff, we got to look back in the rear view at Mexico City. Quick thank you also to our audio listeners, both on Apple Podcasts and Talking West Tennessee. That'll be airing Saturday night. And if you're just picking up on it Saturday night, we'll still have plenty of coverage Sunday. Go back and look at what we did Friday and Saturday. That's past us speaking to future us, speaking to future you. It'll be fun. So was Mexico City. Great weekend all around. Everyone who was down there, just about everyone, talked about how great the experience was and what a good time it was. The on-track racing was pretty solid too. The Xfinity race largely dominated by Connor Zilisch and Ty Gibbs. They run into late trouble, and the homeland hero, Daniel Suarez, able to go worst to first and get the win. It puts Suarez at second overall to Marcus Ambrose, among the winningest foreign-born drivers in NASCAR. And before we even get to the Cup Series, we have to talk about just how awesome of a moment that was.
You know, this was a crazy race, Elliot, because it looked exactly like I think most people handicapped it, right? Zilisch dominating. Carson Quapple was fast again. Ty Gibbs was out there running him down. And then Chris Bell, like I had a top 5 bet on him. One leg of my parlay that would have been a sweet SVG 9-1 cash, which blew up in my face when his Sam Hunt Racing motor blows up. And then it felt like everyone's card went up in smoke, right? If you had Zilisch, you had Carson Quapple, you had Ty Gibbs, sorry about it. You know, that's what happens. And sometimes on these Xfinity road courses. And I can handle it all, though, because what an awesome story that was. I mean, the crowd was absolutely electric down there, man. And Daniel Suarez, he drove his butt off, man, to get through the pack. He's always a driver that if he starts deep in a field, you know, Cup specifically usually, like I'm good on that because sometimes, especially on road courses, he can find trouble. But, you know, kept it clean. Taylor Gray breathing down his neck down late in that race, and he kept his cool, man. So shout out to Suarez, and hey, another win for our guys over there at Junior Motorsports, baby.
Yeah, that blank number 9 car gonna look good on all that merch afterward too. The beautiful thing was with Xfinity, the past couple of weeks, if you've been following, I've been just barely missing out, just barely in the red, not really, just needed a couple more things to shift. After Xfinity, I was in the green for the week because we had Austin Hill, the top 5 cash, and then the bet I have been waiting more than a year for, Austin Green top 10 at 4-1 hit. He was P7, I think. I was in the green before we even got to the Cup Series. So it was a beautiful Xfinity race for me from that aspect too.
Hey, dude, no, you absolutely deserve it. I'm kicking myself for not betting Austin Green because, you know, he's
after all that, you didn't even throw a sprinkle on it? Oh,
no, I didn't. I was thinking, you know, of course, I tie myself to freaking Josh Bilicki, which never works out. And he was the long shot. But, you know, I'm kicking myself about that. I'm kicking myself because there was an Austin Hill, like minus 165 top 10 out there. And I was like, I don't know how much juice I want to drink. And then there was a Sammy Smith top 10 plus 175. And I was like, he's going to finish 11th, guaranteed it. Like he's going to finish 10th or 11th, finish 10th. So I could have cashed that. So a little bit of regret for me there. I think my biggest takeaway from that race, though, honestly, despite like how awesome it was for Daniel Suarez to have that homecoming moment, was Taylor Gray's an absolute weapon right now. I mean, this guy, I did not expect him to be a road course guy, but like he had good runs in the Truck Series on not Sonoma, but Coda before. But I was just not expecting that. This guy is going to win a race sometime this year, and I'm hopefully going to be on him when he does that, because this guy looks like arguably one of the best Joe Gibbs Racing drivers so far this season when Almirola is out of the car.
Yeah, it will be far from the last time you hear Taylor Gray's name on the show tonight for sure. The Cup Series race, Gibbs and SVG, they were the class of the field, and it was shaping up to be a pretty exciting battle there at the end. But of course, rain showed up toward the beginning, knocked out Kyle Busch, AJ Allmendinger, and a couple other guys from contention, Kyle Larson especially. And then there was the strategy of, is the rain going to come? Should you flip the stage and pit in stage 2, or should you stay out? SVG stays out, thinks he has a loose wheel on his pit stop when he grabs the caution that he needed. But then after that, it all worked out for him, and he just put a whooping on the field in the last 40 laps or so, however long that last run was. He won by 16 seconds, which is the second largest margin of victory in the Cup Series in the last 25 years. And the only one that was longer was a fuel mileage win by Kurt Busch in 2009 at Texas. He won by 25 seconds.
Wow.
So this is the longest in the next gen by quite a hefty margin. And SVG, everyone and their mother, the guy 33rd in points shouldn't be able to be in the playoffs. I can't believe this. Can't believe that. Last 5 Cup races, SVG has the 10th best average finish at 15.6. I know that's going to be inflated by a win quite a bit, but he's been more respectable on ovals, and we all kind of knew this was going to happen, that SVG was going to win one of these road courses. I had his pole winner bet that I shared in the Discord at 2-1, added a plus 225 outright on Sunday. Glad I did that. And thankfully still had a couple of matchups. Allmendinger over Larson, even though they both were involved in that crash. At least AJ was mostly able to stay on the lead lap. All Larson could do was get the fastest lap, 30-some laps down. And then McDowell over Suarez. We were both kind of wanting to fade Suarez. We felt bad about it, but we were like, no, we kind of have to.
When did you find that? When did you find that bet? Was that post-practice and qualifying?
The McDowell over Suarez?
Yeah.
That would have been probably like Thursday afternoon. I think I put most of my bets together last week.
I missed that because if I would have known, I don't think you gave that on the show, because if I would have heard that and seen that, I mean, that was a great number. Plus 120. My goodness. I mean, that was great.
I think it might have been a Bet365 bet. They've been my favorite book. We don't get any money from Bet365, but I'll just put it out there. They've been my favorite book consistently. I feel like their numbers vary more because it feels like if you go to Caesars and then to FanDuel and then to MGM, you're going to get mostly the same numbers, a little bit of variance. Bet365, you see a lot of the same numbers, but they have way more variance, and I'm able to get good numbers, and we'll continue. There's plenty of Bet365 bets on my card tonight that they're a different number, whether it's sometimes a little better, sometimes a little worse, but they also have some variance in the matchups too. So I'm pretty sure that McDowell over Suarez was there, and that's where I picked up on it. McDowell, I was going to say not really a road course guy, but he is a road course guy. We were kind of on him, but it was still, I was impressed by his top 5 run is where I was trying to lead to.
It was excellent. He even went off the course kind of late in that race, and I was like, I don't know if he's going to be able to get this done, and he absolutely did. So no, great card for you. Great to see you back in the green for the first time in a while. So thankful to see that. And kind of same thing for me. I had that nice summertime parlay going, 1.5 units on it. Bell top 5, Xfinity, SVG outright in Cup. Ended up not hitting that. I got reinvested after practicing qualifying, plus 275 at ESPN Bet. ESPN Bet's probably been my favorite sports book this year for NASCAR. Just they've had great offerings, very interesting matchups, including the Chris Buescher versus Suarez, 5 units there. We put down on there, so that was great to get that back. And then Ross Chastain, even money over Daniel Suarez as well. 2 units back from that. So also finished up just over 4 units in the green last week, and came out on top for the 8th time in the past 11 weeks. So the only bad weeks I've really had, in this stretch of the schedule, Elliot, was Rockingham, kind of got over invested. That was kind of a crap show. And then All-Star Race, got way too over invested. And then Nashville, Music City always does me dirty, whether it's going there in person and boozing the strip or just betting it.
Yeah, man, I don't blame you there. And not to toot our own horn, but you hitting the 8 of the last 11 weeks in the green. Like I said, this is my first week in the green since Texas, but they haven't been bad weeks. I've been able to hit some decent bets, but it's just the unit allocation. Like I hit the Hamlin outright at Michigan, but I only put I think it was $1.11, so I didn't win that much even on an 8-1.
Yeah.
But then unit allocation was good last week and is hopefully going to be good this week too.
Hey man, that's part of this, man. It's growing and learning as a bettor and becoming just more aware as a gambler, right? What juice we're willing to pay, what juice we're not willing to pay. I mean, you see me, I drink a lot of juice sometimes, and I know I get some hate in the comments sometimes for the amount of juice I'm willing to drink, but and sometimes it's too much. And I think it's just having a great balance in your card with the long shots, and also being willing to, throw 5 units down or, whatever your allocation is down on a matchup and riding it out. A couple chats here. TK saying pretty rough for him. He had a Nemechek top 5, bet $1 for 126. So sucked to see McDowell get him on that last lap or two.
That 42 did have some speed, and it continues the legacy. It continues the legacy trend of they have one car that's really good and one car that kind of runs the back. Erik Jones, I think, finished like 15th or 16th. He had a pretty respectable day, but it's every week they're hitting on one of these legacy cars to really run well, and I feel like that'll continue this week, as we'll touch on.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of sicko TK is that he hasn't even checked top 5. I mean, I get the top 10. I think it was 11-1, 10-1.
Yeah.
You're my favorite type of degenerate, TK. That was a nice play. Matt Jones saying, I bet Austin Hill top 3. Good sweat at the end of that race. Good on you,
Yeah.
Matt. Good one.
I had his top 5, so it was just a little less sweaty, but still a little bit sweaty. So it was about maybe 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way through the race. Both Hill and Green were in the mid-20s. I was really thinking that was going to work out poorly, but they nailed it.
Nick saying his pick, Michael McDowell last Sunday, end up finishing 5th. And then John in the chat saying, let's all watch Kyle Busch win this Sunday.
Corey LaJoie's not on the field, so we know he won't get dumped.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Like, my heart wants to bet Kyle Busch, but the numbers say do not bet Kyle Busch. John, but good to see you, buddy. And then our guy Bob saying, I like Blaney this week. Good to see you, Bob. Numbers like Blaney as well. Blaney definitely high up in the projections. So, the books don't hate Blaney. The numbers don't hate Blaney. So not an island by any means there, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Blaney, the winner last year, ran pretty well, I think in 23 as well. And it'll be exciting to watch, just like Mexico City was. I really hope they go back. I know it took a lot logistically. There were some flight issues and things like that. They had to change the schedule.
Yeah, got to clean that up a little bit.
Issues, we all learned the phrase "hugging the big white telephone" after SVG got a little sick on Sunday morning. But
also, that's the other thing I was gonna say. I kind of did this dance about a month or so ago. Went to my brother's wedding down in the Dominican. I think I talked about it on the program. And you gotta watch what you're eating. You gotta watch what you're eating down there. Seriously, like. We got to clean that up a little bit, see what's happening there. But apparently the tacos down there, excellent from Anthony and everyone on the internet was saying too. So would love to get down there, just try a little bit them Mexican city tacos. But overall though, as long as it wasn't coming out both sides, you had a good time, I think, down there in Mexico.
Yeah, and like I said, hopefully they go back. Maybe we'll have to add that to our coverage schedule. What do you think? I don't think our budget's that big yet.
No, not yet. Hopefully one day. The way we get there is the liking, the subscribing, join the IBT family. That's how we'll get there one day, baby.
Hey, maybe Montreal is more realistic for an international race if they finally put that back on the schedule.
I don't think I can get into Canada, but we can try. Certainly. We can certainly try.
Well, that can be that can be like we're going to see this weekend as we bring up our first news item where somebody who has to sit at home, he sits at home, but then somebody is kind of like the figurehead and calls the shots at the track, which is what we're going to see in the Xfinity series. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to be the crew chief for the Connor Zilisch machine. Remember, crew chief Marty Lindley suspended for lug nut violation all the way back at Nashville. Deferred that suspension because of the Mexico City paperwork and experience and stuff like that. You can defer those suspensions. Mm-hmm. He'll be out for Pocono. Dale Jr. Is going to be in. That is going to be exciting to watch. I read a tweet that said when this sort of stuff would happen at JRM, Dale would be like, well, man, why don't they just let me do it? And the guy said to Dale, well, your name's on the building. Why don't you just do it? So he's doing it this weekend. Last race for Prime. He'll be there with TNT too, but last race for Prime on the Cup side, and he'll be on the pit box on the Xfinity side. Whether he's calling shots or whether he's just complete figurehead for Marty Lindley, either at the War Room in Charlotte or maybe sitting on a bus in the infield. I don't know. People were talking about what the rules were on suspension, where you can be. Can you be on the box? Can you be in the track? That sort of thing. But either way, it's really cool to see.
Dude, number 8 on top of the box. Are you kidding me? We were talking about it earlier over text. Like, it always feels like something cool's always going down up there in Longpond, Pennsylvania, baby, when NASCAR stops in town. And, Dale Earnhardt Jr. giving the fans a little bit of a treat here on Saturday. Very, very cool to see it. And, if I'm Connor Zilisch, well, he can't have his regular crew chief in his ear. I don't think there's anyone better than old Dale Earnhardt Jr. On the sticks for you. So love it, man. Hopefully we can see something cool out of Dale and company. Wouldn't that be a way to cash our generational future over 1.5 wins on Connor Zilisch with Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the box and getting to talk to him afterwards?
Man, that would be a lot of fun. We'll talk about Xfinity bets a little later in the show. Another storyline that we have to touch on once again is Carson Hocevar and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We had kind of had this all settled. Ricky was upset, but he said, okay, we're going to put this behind us. You just got to be careful what you're doing. Carson, don't be an idiot. We know you're fast. Let's not have this continue. So, of course, toward the end of the race, Carson Hocevar, after the last caution to come out, he's running a lap down. He just misses it. He wheel hops the corner and happens to run in to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on the lead lap battling for position. Wipes out his day. Hocevar, of course, his day was already wiped out. So we got the beautiful thing about the Max in cars. And we'll have to keep an eye on this when we're at the track too on Sunday. The Max in car catches it immediately of Stenhouse leaning in Hocevar's window saying, hey, I'm going to beat your rear end when we get back to the States, so be careful. We'll have to see if Hocevar shows up with a black eye or anything when we get to the track. But either way, I think that it's a situation where Hocevar did not mean to wreck the 47.
Yeah,
but you lose the benefit of the doubt when you run into a guy at least half intentionally a couple of times. If you make a mistake and hit the same guy, that guy's going to be mad whether you meant it or not.
Well, and I was on the soapbox a couple weeks ago defending Carson Hocevar. I think I was in the minority then, and now you do lose the benefit of the doubt. And it reminds me a lot of like when I was a kid and like my brother would be like, dude, stop doing that. And I would like keep doing it. And then like I would like legitimately accidentally do it somehow and get like my butt kicked because of it. And it was like, well, like I didn't mean to, but I just did something 5 times, and on the 6th, it might've been an accident, but I still did it the 6th time. Like that's kind of the thing with Carson Hocevar here. Unfortunate, just running a little too hot. And like, I think that's where I'd like to see a little bit of growth as a driver, like just knowing, hey, like there's not a ton of chance of me getting back on the lead lap here. There's not a ton of chance. Like, I know he's still racing for that lucky dog. He's still racing for that chance to get back. And I love a guy who doesn't quit, but at the same time, being smart and not wheel hopping your way into someone. And the irony that it's Ricky Stenhouse is just too much, man. It's just, Elliot, my question to you as a journalist, Big J from the old Indiana University of Pennsylvania, go Hawks, baby. Will you be asking either of these drivers about said incidents at the track this weekend? Because I think I'm going to defer to you on that one.
Well, so the beautiful thing is we won't have to ask it because everyone and their mother at the track is going to be talking about it. I fully I fully believe that all the national reporters, the beat reporters, they're going to immediately flock to these two guys when they walk in for the bullpen on Saturday. That we were trying to figure out how many top 25, top 30 guys have to do. They're going to be in there and they're going to talk about it, and it will be a storyline all weekend. So we won't have to be the guy that asks that question because somebody else will ask it, and then the storyline will build from there.
My only thing too is like, I don't know if it would ever actually come to a scrap at the track. But man, would that be an interesting scrap because Ricky Stenhouse Jr., like ripped dude. Like I would not want to tussle with him. I bet he has great double leg takedown. But Carson Hocevar, lanky guy, I mean, when you get the chance to see these drivers in person, like you don't meet a lot of lanky fellas. And Carson Hocevar, Austin Cindric, Logano, a couple of the few in the Cup Series who are real lanky. So it's like reach versus like strength and, elder wisdom there.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. And the trouble with this, too, is that Hocevar has race winning speed and Ricky really doesn't. So there could be, I can feel the spirit of our third partner, Rod Villagomez, in me because I feel like Hocevar's got to be kind of hands off for the next couple of weeks because I am fully anticipating a situation where they're racing either running for the same spot or maybe Hocevar's got a rocket ship and is going to lap Ricky, and Ricky's just going to say, I'm done with it. I'm putting you in the fence. You're not going to win this race when I still owe you one. You're not going to get your first win when I owe you one. And Ricky, too, to have the wherewithal to not start a fight when you're outside of the country. You never know if Stenhouse would have ended up in a Kyle Busch type situation. That's at least nice that he had the wherewithal to wait till you cross the border before he did anything.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so we got some other storylines that we'll be watching this weekend. One that's kind of national schedule like that NASCAR rumored to be finalizing a deal for a San Diego street race. And they've also put out that they are considering, they had been considering a race in Philadelphia at a similar type of venue to the LA Coliseum or Bowman Gray Stadium, I believe. The University of Pennsylvania football field just outside of Philadelphia. I can't recall the name of it off the top of my head. But some rumors of NASCAR going to other markets, going to other cities. I feel like especially a San Diego street race would be really exciting. I'm sure it'll be a topic of conversation this weekend.
I mean, look, man, we need to throw a bone out to the people of San Diego, right? You lose the Chargers a couple of years ago. You ain't got nothing going for you, right? I mean, you got the Padres.
NASCAR's not really in that market with a points race after California Auto Club Speedway getting ripped apart.
Well, even really any race now with the Clash moved from the Coliseum as well. Like I know our producer Nicolette out from that California area, and there was a lot of buzz and excitement when the sport came to Los Angeles. So I think taking it back to that region, going to San Diego, very, very smart. I think it'll be a very scenic track. Potentially, maybe we can get something right there, along the ocean. So that'd be really cool. And love seeing that. And hey, more races in Pennsylvania is a benefit for us, right? So very thankful for that. Kind of a weird call, right? I don't think any of us Lake Erie Speedway makes a little bit more sense. Jennerstown, if you wanted to go back up to Nazareth in eastern Pennsylvania, there are a lot of Nazareth. I mean, Nazareth would have been sick.
Nazareth would be great, but that track has been in such a state of disrepair for 20 plus years, and I'm pretty sure whoever owns it now wants absolutely nothing to do with racing. I don't even think they'll let you go in and explore it. Now, why they wouldn't let you go in before, but
let's take care of that NASCAR.
I think it's the point where it's inaccessible, but that'd be great. I mean, the Andretti's from Nazareth. It'd be a great racing home. It was unfortunate that shut down back then. As for Jennerstown, it's way too small of a facility to host Cup, but I believe Dale Earnhardt Jr. did say after he ran Cordele, Georgia in the Cars Tour, said maybe Jennerstown is a place we go next year as one of those to add to the schedule. So that could definitely be one to watch too. But I mean, the thing is, if they're going to put it in San Diego, they can use most of the same stuff as the Chicago street course, because it's presumed Chicagoland is going to be back on the schedule for that market next year. And the street race would, in this case, be going to San Diego. They can use almost all of that same infrastructure to go there. And then I'm assuming they would build something out if they were to, maybe even buy this property in Philadelphia to make it more of a racetrack and less of a field, like we've seen with Bowman Gray, even though they do host football there as well.
Yeah, I'm absolutely here for it, man. A lot of race fans in this area of the state, right here in this little southeastern corner. So I think everyone would get behind it, and I think it's a time to also expand to some new fans in that area. That would be very excited to have NASCAR. So good on NASCAR for trying stuff. This is thumbs up, I think, from everyone. At least it should be, right?
Yep, just as long as they don't take Pocono away. You got to leave that on the schedule. And like you said, one of the last independent tracks can make things a little scarier. So a couple other things going on. Well, there are a lot of driver storylines too. We've already touched on some of them with Hocevar and Stenhouse, and we'll touch on more of them through the bets. But I feel like one of the ones definitely to watch is that Ty Gibbs, he's coming off potentially his best 2 weeks in the Cup Series. Probably should have won the Michigan race, but the fuel saving thing didn't quite work out his way, and he ends up finishing third there. And then, honestly, both in Xfinity and Cup, he might have had the best car, and it just didn't work out. The strategy boned him in the Cup Series, and then in Xfinity just getting together and having damage and crashing out. And Ty Gibbs, pole winner here last year, has finished pretty well. He had that incident last season. The motor blew. You had that image of the forbidden chocolate milk coming out of the car, whatever liquid that was of the motor, just grenading. But he in particular will be somebody that'll be important to watch as he's still searching for his first Cup win.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in on Ty Gibbs. I mean, the comeback's been strong. We just need the finishes now, right? If you bet him at Mexico City last week, it's a heartbreaker in both races, really, that he didn't get the result he deserved. In both those races, he looked like the second best car, had a really good feel for that track. Obviously, he's been putting in the work in on the sim, I think, to get that fast there. And yeah, I'm right there with you at Pocono. I wanted to find a way to get him on the card. I bet him outright pre-practice and qualifying last year before he went to Pocono. And then he goes out and pulls it. I have a 29-1, something close to that, heading into Sunday. Felt great about it. And then just not there at the end again. So we just need the consistent finishes from Ty Gibbs. But I'm liking what we're seeing, but it's still going to be an uphill climb to make the playoffs. He needs a win. Maybe it happens here in Longpond.
Yeah, certainly going to be one to watch for sure. A couple other little bits here. TJ Majors has been out for about a month. He'll be spotting the number 6 car, Keselowski. He's back. The whole Rick Ware Legacy charter debacle that's been going on. Rick Ware decided to countersue Legacy for Legacy, even trying to make the argument that they should get the charter next year. I agree with our guy iFantasy Race who tweeted out, why would Rick Ware not just take the $45 million and run? He's to a point where now Cody is just running the car. They're running it just to make the money, because clearly Cody Ware is not doing particularly great last in the points among full-time drivers. That's a heck of a lot of money. You still would have you could sell the other charter. I bet Brad Keselowski, who we were just talking about with TJ Majors, I bet he'd pony up a check too to purchase that charter that the 60 is currently using. Rick Ware could walk out with at least $100 million and just say, hey, this has been a lot of fun, guys. I'm going to go take my money and run, maybe field some Xfinity stuff for fun. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's just personal opinion. This one's a fun little storyline, though. A gentleman by the name of Jeff Curtis, who was an engineer who worked a lot with Martin Truex Jr. and Cole Pearn and guys like that for Furniture Row Racing and Joe Gibbs. He was named as the lead engineer when they first went over to JGR. I think in 2019 it was. He was last seen on a crew roster with the JGR 19 last year at Richmond. If you recall, the best car at Richmond last year was Austin Dillon in the 3. And now Jeff Curtis is on the crew roster for Austin Dillon and the number 3. And there was the rumor coming out of Richmond last year that maybe somebody gave some setups to Richard Childress Racing. Maybe somebody from Joe Gibbs Racing. Maybe somebody that's officially on a crew roster now for Richard Childress Racing team. That's certainly, that's another thing that's all kind of hearsay and rumors, but definitely something to watch. If we do see an uptick at performance, especially on the short tracks from RCR, I feel like we know why now.
Yeah, I mean, whoever sniffed this out last year, like, it made so much sense when we first heard this, right? And like, we're a show that we primarily like to focus on betting, and then also news that can pertain to betting. And we try to stay out of the rumor mill as much as we can. But at the same time,
I will take any opportunity at all to put on the tinfoil hat. Me.
Yeah, and absolutely. And like, this is one of those situations where like it really made sense last year. I mean, we did not see RCR have speed at short tracks, even intermediates last season at all until Richmond. I mean, it was such an out of nowhere win that like I needed an explanation to just like move forward with like being able to handicap races for a living, because I felt down on myself, right? And because I just didn't see it coming. And I think now we can start putting the pieces together, and Jeff Curtis is definitely going to have an interesting run here at RCR, and would love to see the media talk to him. I don't think he'll have any availability this weekend, though.
Hey, you got to wander the garage. Maybe we can pick him out.
Head on a swivel. Head on a swivel. Get print out what he looks like, Elliot. And let's Jeff Curtis, that you? Jeff Curtis? I'm just Ty Dillon's. I'm just Ty Dillon's gasser. No worries.
Oh, yeah, that was funny. Our first year at Pocono, when I think was it the Cup race or was it Xfinity? When Ty Dillon was running.
Xfinity your truck. I can't remember.
Yeah, so one of the lesser series. There's a gentleman, obviously part of Ty Dillon's team, just kind of hanging out on pit road. Wearing the Ty Dillon uniform, looks exactly like Ty Dillon. So we go up to him. We're like, hey, what's up, Ty? Can we talk to you for a bit? He's like, no, I'm not Ty Dillon. I get that all the time. This guy looked exactly like Ty Dillon, but was not Ty Dillon.
Who would have thought that Ty Dillon would have a doppelganger on his own team? I mean, just absurd. I mean, yeah. Wow.
Maybe it was him and he just didn't want to talk to us, because I don't think he had a very great finish that day.
No, true. Very, very true.
Anyway, man, I'm ready to talk Pocono. Let's break into it in the Horizon forecast.
Yeah, let's fire it up.
Hey, Michael, it was only 20% chance of rain. I think we got all 20.
I certainly don't want to jinx anything, but so I'm at my childhood home about an hour away from Pocono, and it was pouring outside about 2 minutes before the show started. I'm certainly hoping all the rain that we used to get, it was a yearly tradition, the Pocono rain delay, that we haven't had at least affect the Cup Series the last couple of years. Let's keep that away. Let's rain, go away. Come again another day.
It's raining men.
Yeah, it'll be raining men in that garage. Have it rain when you go to Camel Beach on the 07 car, Patrick Emmerling in the Xfinity Series this week. I don't know if you've ever been to Camel Beach, Seth. Not too far from the racetrack. Could be a good little activity for those going for the race, post-race. Nice little water park there.
Shout out Camel Beach. Maybe a new partner down the line. We're open.
Hey, there's a lot of local sponsorship this week. It's been fun. We won't talk about that here because nobody cares that's watching the betting show. We'll talk about that in related content.
Yeah.
So for this weekend, though, in the Cup Series, we've got our 36 chartered cars, and Brennan Poole is doing double duty in the 44 New York Racing Team. That car looks beautiful. I'll tweet out a picture of it as soon as we see it. The Xfinity Series has 38 entries, your notables. Chase Elliott in the 17. This was not originally a planned race, I believe, for the Hendrick Xfinity team, but Chase Elliott, who ran this race in 2023, is going to run it again. Justin Bonsignor is in the Joe Gibbs Racing number 19. Not sure what to expect from him. In the Truck Series, just 34 entries total. Everyone makes all the races, so that'll be nice. Brandon Jones in the Tricon number 1 and Carson Hocevar in the Spire 7. In terms of guys that are probably worth taking a look at betting on. Other entries down the line that I know are long shots, but in terms of the weekend schedule, the base stuff that we always talk about, 12:35 tomorrow on FS2 truck practice and qualifying. We'll have a presence at the track, whether it's all of us or some of us, for at least the qualifying section of that tomorrow. And then at 5 o'clock, we have the truck race on FS1, the Miller Tech Battery 200 stage lengths of 20, 20, and 40. Saturday, we got Xfinity qualifying 10 a.m. on the CW app, practice and qualifying, leading into Cup practice and qualifying at 12:35. And then at 3:30, the Explore the Pocono Mountains 250
Love it.
on the CW, the Xfinity race, 25, 25, and 50 stage lengths. And then arguably the best race name right now in the Cup Series. We used to have a lot of great ones, but I feel like the Great American Getaway 400 is just a beautiful name for a race. That's the Cup Series event on Sunday. I forgot to put on my hat that we got last year. I have it with me. I didn't put it on for the show. But anyway, that's at 2 o'clock. Stage lengths 30, 65, and 65. That is a short first stage, I feel like, for this race.
Is it? Yeah. I don't know if it's just like, I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that was the last year thing too. It almost feels like back in the days of COVID when we weren't practicing and we would have the caution after 25 laps. Like, I don't know what that is about. It is a little weird, but I don't hate a 65, 65, second and third stage, some long runs potentially coming out there.
Yeah, and if that's not accurate, let us know. I take this from Bob Pockris, who occasionally does have typos. Unfortunately, we won't get to see our guy Bob. He'll be at Road America with Fox.
Man, Bob's always the last one there too. Bob is putting in that good work, man. That's a bummer not to see him, but I know he'll do good work out there in Indy.
Yeah, and to be honest, too, Road America. I don't want to talk down on Pocono, but I'm sure he's been to Pocono 30 times, and I don't know how often he's gotten to go to Road America. So, but anyway. Media members aside, let's talk about the racetrack and break down how it can affect our bets for this week in the preview.
Yeah, so looking at Pocono Raceway, the tricky triangle, if you would, it's a 2.5-mile tri-oval big flat track with each turn inspired by another famous track. Turn 1, Trenton Speedway. Have you ever heard of Trenton Speedway? I hadn't. It's in New Jersey. Trenton, of course.
It's been defunct for a while. That's why we haven't really heard of it.
Then turn 2, the tunnel turn. The one, if you're at the track, you might have some binoculars. You're looking out there because, I mean, it is far away, man.
Even from the media center, which is all the way up the grandstand, you still can barely see what's happening in turn 2. That's how big the track this is.
Yeah, you gotta have good eyes on you for sure. That turn 2 was inspired by Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then turn 3, the Milwaukee Mile, inspired by that. So like, that's why I think Pocono, again, just such a unique track. The only comparison we really have in the Cup Series and in NASCAR in general right now is Indianapolis, with the Milwaukee Mile no longer ripping it either. So secondary tracks, some would argue Michigan purely from a horsepower perspective. I'm not weighing it at all, just because I remember asking one of the drivers last year if Michigan could be considered a comp, and they told us no. So I think it was McNasty. So I'm gonna trust McNasty's word on that. We didn't factor in any of that in our modeling this week, Elliot.
Yeah, and even Indianapolis too. It's similar in that horsepower sense, like Michigan, but it compares well to the turn 2 because it's modeled off of it. You know, turn 3 kind of feels like Indy, but the Milwaukee Mile guys have run on it in the past, but some of these guys, it's been just as long as since they've been to Mexico City. And like you said, not even the Truck Series race there the last couple of years. They're off the schedule right now. They're kind of a flip-flop track. It's not a defunct track. So a track that'll definitely be, I almost would be curious to see if Xfinity and Truck goes back there, how heavy we could weigh it as a comp for those lower series. I know we don't have a betting model for those yet.
Yeah.
It could be, again, I'm putting on the hypothetical here. I'm going too inside baseball, but we'll stick to the data here.
Well, maybe you should make the Xfinity betting model, since I do the Cup Series each week. Maybe we'll put that on you.
If 2026 Xfinity betting model. Let's do it.
There you go. Let us know if that's something you guys would be into. Let's make more work for ourselves. It's always a good idea. Looking at some trends here for Pocono, since 2022 in the next gen era, there has only been one Cup Series race per year here. There was the doubleheader weekend from 2020 to 2021. That was pretty fun. 2 dates before that. And it really is one of those things, like, while I think the area wishes they probably had 2 dates and it was great for the local economy, at the same time, like, it's just such a bigger event when there's only one per year, I feel like. So that's always great to see.
And it really has helped the attendance, because I feel like Pocono was one of those. I feel like Richmond will probably be the same when they go there in August. I think that date is. Dover was the same sort of thing. They'd have 2 dates. NASCAR kind of waned in interest as the 2000s went on. And they wouldn't get super good attendance. But Pocono, this is the 3rd straight year they're going to be sold out for all their camping, all their grandstand, everything. Dover, that was a ridiculous crowd last year too. I think the one date, as unfortunate as it is, it also helps us go to places like Mexico City, or if they go, even running the Clash of Bowman Gray. Some of these new tracks that have come in and been super cool is because of these old guard traditional tracks losing a date. You still get to race there, and we get to go to other places too.
Yeah, you got 50,000 rowdy fans up in the stands for this thing. And then roughly they sell out about 3,000 or so camping spots. But, who knows how many people are camping at a spot. So factor that all in.
We'll try to count. No, we won't. But we will.
No. We'll send Nicolette. That'll be Nicolette's first day. Go count how many camping spots we got out, how many people are out there camping.
We'll convince Dale to do it on Friday.
There you go. Qualifying trends here. Ty Gibbs is second all time in average starting position at this track, 7.3 in 3 races. Even more impressive though is Denny Hamlin, who's third all time, 7.5 in 35 races. That's insane. Daniel Suarez also 8th in all-time average starting position at Pocono. Would never believe that, 9.5. So that was kind of an interesting little nugget there. If you want in on Suarez, maybe we're supposed to be betting him pre-practice and qualifying.
Man, that's why we do the trends, because it picks out some stuff that you wouldn't normally think about.
Yeah. Next gen poll winners, 2 from JGR, Hamlin 2022, Ty Gibbs last year, of course, and then we had William Byron back in 2023 for HMS. So usually the big dogs, they're the ones kind of rolling into the speed here. We have seen 2 first-time Cup Series winners in the past decade find victory lane. Ryan Blaney, 2017. Chris Buescher, 2016 fog race ending. So very interesting. And I know you're on a first-time winner potentially later. And I almost wanted to bet Josh Berry or Bubba Wallace, just because I feel like someone like that in that range could win. But I really think as in terms of speed, if you're thinking first-time winner, I think it's got to be a Penske car, which all of them have wins. I think it's got to be HMS. I think it's got to be JGR, or maybe a 2311. I think could maybe sneak in there too.
Yeah, and for the most part, those are guys who all do have wins previously. I don't think Riley Herbst is going to go to victory lane.
Right. Yeah.
I don't hate the idea of a first-time winner, though. I feel like Pocono is a track where it definitely could happen, especially if fuel strategy gets into it. We both have some parlays that we'll talk about in the bets here in just a minute. But I split $1 up on Caesars and threw a couple cents here, a couple cents there on just some ridiculous parlays that I'll throw in the Discord, which also include 2 separate parlays of every series having a first-time winner. That, there's one in particular that would be real nice, but it'll never happen. But that's the beauty of it. We'll be there. It'll give us something fun to root for in case the absolute most insane outcome.
Ty Dillon.
Well, yeah, not him, but a couple others.
Next gen winners from the front row, 0% of the time, top 5, 33% of the time, top 10, though, 100% of the time. We had Chase Elliott, who I think came from about 4th or 3rd. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then Ryan Blaney and Denny Hamlin both started P8 the past 2 years, the past 2 times they've won here at this track. So just something to kind of keep in mind there. You're probably going to want a guy who's going to start in the top 10. Nothing crazy, but just probably what it's going to want to be. So we're going to be one investing early and then keeping our head on a swivel for post practice and qualifying. We're definitely going to have an episode come out Saturday night at some point, post practice and qualifying thoughts, any new bets we're on. Probably won't have the odds released, but kind of just circling some guys who impressed us, recap Xfinity truck a little bit. And then we'll also have a Sunday night recap coming out before we get out of there, I think on Sunday night, Elliot.
Yeah, and hey, we could push it Saturday night too if we got some good internet or good hotspot from the old Airbnb. We can go live from there too once we get the odds. We'll see. We'll keep you all updated, and it'll, like I said, it'll be fun to watch. The Asterisk Mark driver. Before we get to the bets, shout out iFantasy Race for his Asterisk Mark reports every week. We already kind of touched on it. Ty Gibbs last year, top 10 car, won the pole. Multiple problems derailing his afternoon. He finished 27th, led 21 laps from the pole in that race. Was a P7 on lap 110, so kind of stayed in the top 10, top 5 area. During a caution, he was caught speeding on pit road, dropped him to the back, kind of took him out, and then his engine spit out the forbidden chocolate milk, blowing on lap 131. Total speed rankings for the race, he was 6th. So it was a more than respectable day for the 54 car. Was he the race-winning car? Probably not. He got the pole. I was going to say about qualifying, we won't have any of that round 1, round 2 stuff. It'll be the different groups and the orders and stuff like that, but it won't be a deal where we'll have, okay, everybody goes, and then the fast 10 go again, going back to the OG qualifying format. You run your lap, and you start where you are, and that's it. I will appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just still pick a lane. Let's do something consistently. Let's do it every track. I just need to know what's going on as a fan. I don't need to, it's already tough enough. I have to figure out that all the qualifying is on Prime, which I like, but I just need to know
Yeah.
And then I need to know the format each week too. Just come on, let's.
Yeah. Well, hey, guess what? I do think this is the last week that the practice and qualifying will be on Prime, because I think next week, since the coverage moves to TNT and Max, I think the rest of the year it's streaming on Max. So I had forgotten about that.
I even have Max. Come on.
Come on. So I think that it's not only you'll have to have Max, but you'll have to have the BR Sports. I don't forget if it's an add-on or something, but I do know that I had to pay extra to the in-car cameras too. I think you have to have the ad-free Max anyway. So that's, again, we can complain about the streaming next week. We got to get to the bets. So let's fire up the parking garage props.
Let's do it.
Impressions of the books. We already kind of talked about the books that we like so far this year. I haven't gotten a look at the odds. I've been driving most of the day. Have the odds changed at all really today, or are we still kind of getting the same sort of offerings?
No, it's been pretty slow actually. I haven't seen really anything, at least on my card, bet down so far. So this is one of those races for me. Like, I didn't find a ton of great value. I felt like, but at the same time, if you sniffed around long enough, you're able to find, just like for me this week, it was like some wild matchups. I thought I just like found some very, very intriguing matchups that I was willing to get invested with, but definitely a little tougher, because this is one of those races, like, usually the big dogs eat in performance, just because you need a fast car to win. You can't be, Cole Custer out there, limping his way to a win. I did actually see Nick actually likes Cole Custer. No offense, Nick, but I don't think Cole
Custer too. It's not a bad week to crap, or it's not a good week to crap on Custer. He ran top 10 like all day in Mexico City.
Yeah, no. He looked good. Probably cashed like a 20-1 ticket or something on people. But yeah, like, you need good equipment. That's basically the thing. You just need, whether it's Xfinity, truck, or Cup, you need good equipment. We have, I think this is Anthony in the chat saying Denny Hamlin gonna have a good run, well rested too. Yeah, totally there with you, man. Marcus saying JGR good at Pocono. Andrew saying, I hope they offer a stage 1 bet post qualifying. Don't think they do it anymore at Pocono. Yeah, that was definitely not a bad market for sure.
Yeah, I did see a couple of stage matchups on Caesars, I think, so that's at least neat. I was going to bring up TK's counterpoint to Anthony. With the newborn, he may not be that well rested. Briscoe certainly wasn't last year. But I do think missing the Mexico City race, it will affect him. We'll see if we can talk to him about that. Hamlin, one of those guys that we're hoping to chat with a little bit, but again, so will everybody else. But in any case, while we're on the topic of Denny Hamlin and while we're on the topic of the books, kind of having some juicy numbers, parlays are the way to go this week. And for me, I got to start with the Great American 11s parlay. It's bet to plus 1082 on Caesars. Denny Hamlin at plus 450 and Corey Heim at plus 115. We've known it ever since he started in the Cup Series. Denny Hamlin has been the king of Pocono. Got his first career wins here, sweeping the weekend, I believe, in 06. In the next gen, last year, P2, 2023, P1, 2022, P1 before disqualification. That's damn near a perfect record for Denny Hamlin. Total for his career, 7 wins here, 858 laps led. I know this is dating back pre-next gen as well, but he's led laps in 11 of the last 12 races here. Definitely a guy who wants to run up front. And hey, he is still 2 for 3 in IBT covered races, winning at Pocono in 23 and Dover in 24. So if you believe the superstitions there, that's a way to go. And if you really dig into his data, he's been on an absolute heater the last 9 weeks. In that time frame, which is dating back to his Martinsville win, he's got 3 wins. He's got a P2, a P3.
Yep.
So 5 really good finishes there. Was so fast at Texas before his engine blew, or at least was to the point where his speed ranking was going to be pretty good. Really fast at Kansas too, before having the transmission issues and eventually breaking the transaxle while he was kind of fighting for the win. Right. Had a fuel issue at Charlotte while he was fighting for the win. And couldn't get, he had to pit 15 laps to go or something and couldn't fight Byron anymore. We may not be talking about Chastain winning because it may have been Hamlin if he had gotten the fuel filled up. So that's 8 of those 9 races where he's had just about race-winning cars, and the 9th was Talladega, so you can almost kind of throw that out. In that stretch, he's had 431 laps. So Denny Hamlin, even though he missed last week, had a couple of issues. Race-winning speed is an every week sort of thing for Hamlin now, and coming to one of his favorite tracks, the track he's won 7 times on, I feel like you can't not bet him. I like him better in the parlay than just betting a plus 450 or plus 500 outright on its own. And I finally get to bet Corey Heim. I hate betting outrights that are below about 2 or 3 to 1. The minus money outrights make me want to puke. But sometimes you got to do them, and you got to do them for Corey Heim. Another guy who has speed to win every race is Corey Heim. Sometimes they just miss on execution. they get dumped by somebody, or the somebody just outwits them on strategy, like Raja Karuth did a couple of weeks ago. More often than not, though, he's going to be in winning position. And at Pocono, he's been strong. P4, P2, and won last year's race in the Truck Series. That P2 in 2023 was the Kyle Busch, so no slouch there either. I feel like the only way to bet these guys is to put them together, and I'm really happy to have a 10-1 on both of them because that will give me some good value for the most likely winners of the Truck and Cup Series races this weekend.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to go about it, man. I've been like staring at the Corey Heim. Best I can find is plus 110 now. And I was like, man, if I see a plus 120, I'm probably just going to hit it. But like that's a conversation we can have when we get to that point of the show. But certainly interested in having it, whether we just have to bet Corey Heim for betting outrights in the truck. When it comes to Denny Hamlin, I just have him on the outright 5-1 at FanDuel. You know, me and FanDuel, we go together like peanut butter and jelly, like Busch Light and Busch Light Lime, or Busch Lights and Lime, I should say. We got the
Damn it, I have that joke later in the show, Seth.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so we got that ripping tonight. But the thing about Denny Hamlin, like if you're betting outrights in Cup, I feel like he has to be on your card. Number 2 in the projections. And I will say this does come with like a little bit of an asterisk marks. We basically weighed his 2022 finish, how he actually finished, how he won that race. And then instead of the DQ that put him last. So if you consider that 2022 DQ and the actual finish that he got that day, he has the top Pocono Next Gen average finish, 1.7. I mean, that's absurd. That is absurd. For all the average finishes we've seen in the Next Gen era, that's one of the best. Also number 1 in the total speed rankings from our guy, iFantasyRace.com in that span. And last year in this race in particular, number 1 in average running position, 5 flat. Number 2 in laps inside the top 15, 95%. Number 2 in driver rating, 31 laps led, finished second on the day. And he didn't finish well at Indy last year, or like he might have been 100% IBT grade in the betting projections this week. But he did run really well at Indy, if you remember. 3rd in average running position that day, 3rd in laps inside the top 15 as well after starting second. So with a 4.3 average starting position here in his career, and we already heard that it's one of the best all time if you go outside of the Next Gen era, like you have to get on him early, man. So yeah, I'm ready to go here on a guy in Denny Hamlin, race winning speed every week, as you said, 2nd in total speed rankings at conventional tracks this season, and that includes blow up at Texas. So if the equipment can last, Hamlin will be there, I think. And I also have him, I'll just throw it out too while we're there, top 5 Denny Hamlin, minus 120 ESPN bet. I'm going 4 units on that, 1 unit on the outright. But yeah, you have to bet him in some shape or form.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise he's on both of our cards, and definitely a guy that you do have to bet. And I like that idea, even though it's a light number. Get him before practice and qualifying. It's the same thing. It's the same thing I'm afraid of with Ty Gibbs, because I am on his outright this week at a 20-1, a slightly lighter number that I wanted to see. I'd like that. What did you say? 29-1 was your number you got last year.
Yeah,
that would have been nicer. But we're to the point where I don't want to miss out on his first win, and I do think this is a time where it can come. We've already kind of waxed poetic about his last couple weeks. Arguably his best 2-race stretch in Cup, which I know 2 races isn't a lot, but it's a track he's confident on, and it's a big part of his story too. Remember, his first Cup start was here, filling in for Kurt Busch after his unfortunate crash. Kurt Busch is going to be up at Pocono too. We'll have to see if we can chat with him. Like I said, first Cup start here in 22, P5 in 23, had the motor blow last year. In the Xfinity Series, 2 runner-up finishes as well here in that 54. Like I said, feels like he probably should have won Michigan if they had let him kind of do what he needed to do with the fuel strategy stuff, if they'd let him kind of have the reins off, and then could have easily swept Mexico weekend. I do feel like SVG would have won that race, but even Shane himself said that Ty Gibbs had a car to go toe to toe with him. It would have been so exciting to watch that finish, especially with 2 guys who are not afraid to be aggressive. That would have been fun to watch. And we know that Ty Gibbs will definitely be aggressive here too. Like I said, a slightly lighter number, but I feel like at a 20-1, I'm confident enough. And like you said, with Toyota and Gibbs, though, hopefully the equipment holds up, and this 54 car should be doing exciting things this weekend.
Yeah, if I could have found like a 25-1, I think I'm in. I really like, because you're spot on. You're spot on. Like even I remember 2 years ago when we were at this race, he also impressed in qualifying. And I know we left practice in qualifying that day, like, hey, we should probably get invested. And I think we did get invested with Ty Gibbs. So certainly has a thing for this Pennsylvania air up here. I don't know what it is, but he definitely likes it. So I'm there with you. You got Ty Gibbs. That might be something I'm looking to add after practice and qualifying. But it might be a way short of a number. We could be waking up with an 11-1. We're both on Denny Hamlin there in various fashions. Let's get to placement props here. What do you have in addition to the Denny Hamlin top 5 that I already threw out?
Yeah, and hey, there's other ways to get in on Ty Gibbs too that we'll talk about that don't involve the finishing positions. And man, I hope we were in on Ty Gibbs on that P5 and 23 because that was a good run. We asked him last year, what is it about Pocono? And he was just like, I don't know. It's cool. We'll go back and find the clip.
Yeah. No, it's not where. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll stick with the monster theme though. Tyler Reddick for a top 5 at plus 190 on BetRivers, a bet I was looking at this week. I do also have a matchup that I don't have a separate speech for. Reddick over Christopher Bell at plus 105 over on Caesars. I feel like for Bell, he's got comparable average finishes, P4, P6, P12 in the next gen. But I like the 45 this week for a pretty big reason. In the next gen, he's got the best average finish of the entire field, and that average finish is 3.3. Both in 22 and 23, he was your runner-up, and then had a very respectable 6th place last year. Total speed ranking for my fantasy race, he's 3rd best. And honestly, Pocono, if he continues to run well here, it'll be a sight for sore eyes for the 45. I understand the what have you done for me lately, which I normally am all on for anybody, is way against me this week. Reddick, even though he's had some speed, he didn't have it last week, that's for sure, when he's normally good on road courses. He is just 1 for his last 8 in terms of top 10s. It has not been a great stretch for the 45.
Yeah.
I'm betting momentum flips, though, with how strong he is at the tricky triangle.
Yeah, so I've actually been I want to bet Tyler Reddick this week because, number 1 in the projections. I really like what he's done at Pocono. It's just the recent form, right? Like, that's really the only thing going against him this week. And he was high up in the projections last week, and I, thought I was going to regret not having anything on him, and I didn't. His top 10's all the way down at minus 150 now at BetRivers. That originally opened at like minus 175, and I looked at it. Minus 150 might be something we have to get invested with. Top 5's a little aggressive for me, but at the same time, if Tyler Reddick usually runs good, it is a top 5 and not a top 10. You know what I mean? Like, I think this is the right way to maybe play that after all, but I do like him. It's just, can he get the finish? Can he get it what he deserves? And, I have a very similar feeling kind of about your next bet as well. It's another guy that I want to get invested with, and I don't know if I can pull the trigger at the price.
Then you just haven't been watching Legacy Motor Club the last month or two. Every week they've got a car running really well in the top 10. And you combine that along with how good Erik Jones is at Pocono when it was a far worse Legacy Motor Club, Richard Petty Motorsports, Petty GMS Racing, all its iterations. Plus, it's his turn. JHN had the really good car last week, ran 6th. So now it's Jones's turn at a track that has been one of his better tracks for his career, not just with Legacy Motor Club, but in the next gen, which is what's most important. A pair of P9s and a P14 last year. He was one of our big stories in 2023.
Yeah.
Hey, Erik Jones was a pretty long shot top 10. He had been building some momentum at that point, and we're seeing the same thing with Legacy. I feel like we can't wax poetic enough about Jimmy Johnson and that venture capital money really helping out the 42 and the 43 team to the point where, like I said, it's wild, but they legitimately have a car with top 10, if not top 5 speed every week. And it's been a lot of fun to watch. When he was in JGR equipment, 6 finishes a P8 or better here too. So he knows his way around the tricky triangle. And when you think of the last 5 oval races, last week he was in the mid-teens, if not close to the 20s at Mexico City. Last 5 ovals for Jones, P5, P32 had an issue, P13, P7, and P11. And those are at tracks where he's got a far worse track record than he does here at Pocono. This might be my favorite bet of the week. So I'm a little surprised that you are so bullish on it. Or so, yeah.
See, like, I like Erik Jones, and I liked him last year, but you also bet this last year, and I knew when to, like, just cut it off and not go back to the well. You went back to the well. You had a good run, 11.7 average running position, finished 14th, though. So I could see that happening. I did see a head-to-head against Austin Cindric. Do you have any interest in that? It was at a pick'em price, minus 115. I looked long and hard at it, and Erik Jones is 3-0 against him at this track in the next gen era. However, Cindric did pull out a can of a butt whooping on him last year at Indianapolis, where Jones was not competitive at all. But this is kind of just Jones's like MO as he has his tracks, right? So any thoughts on that matchup? Would you back Jones there? Because I think I could go there. I just don't think I can get all the way to the top 10.
I understand it, but there's a reason it's plus 275 versus that minus 115.
Yeah.
I do like that though. When I put the rest of my bets in the card channel on the Discord later, you can absolutely expect that Jones over Cindric matchup.
Okay. I think it was the ESPN bet is where, I saw that one.
I will keep an eye out on it. So I was more placement props this week. You're pretty heavy on matchups this week, including this one here that you've got.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love betting matchups. It's my favorite market to bet on. It's been so profitable for us each and every week, pretty much this entire season. I'm going to Bubba Wallace minus 115 at ESPN bet over Ross Chastain, going for 3 units on it. The biggest discrepancy in the IBT projections this week is this one that's being offered in a head-to-head right now. Bubba 7th in those projections, 73% IBT grade. Ross 24th, 38% IBT grade. And like, I put it in the Discord earlier this week. Like, how does everyone feel about Ross? Because like, I hate fading the Busch Light Apple car. Like, it's kind of part of our branding, right? But it's got to be done because in the next gen era, Bubba Wallace 4th in average finishing position at this track, 9.7. Ross 27.0. That's the 29th worst. Or 29th best, excuse me. Wallace 13th in total speed rankings in that span. Ross 17th. So they're not that far on speed, but Bubba just has a ton of late run speed. It feels like every time that he comes here. Last year started at near the back, ran 20th in average running position. So not a great day by any means, but had late run speed. Finished 10th in that race. Ross, on the other hand, he got in trouble early, if you remember, Elliot, and then had the 3rd worst average running position on the day. 31.2 was his average running position on that day.
His average running was in the garage after they towed that Busch Peach car back to the garage.
Yeah, so it was a tough one for him, man. And not only is Bubba 3-0 against Ross at Pocono in the next gen, but he finished P5 at Indy last year, 9.7 average running position, 4th best. So I like Bubba Wallace a lot. I think he's going to be really, really strong here this weekend. And going up against Ross, a guy who just hasn't had it at Pocono, at Indy, any of the big flats over the past, 3 or 4 years. I think it's time. You got to back Bubba here.
Yeah, man, I hate it too, but Chastain, the stats just aren't here. And I feel like he's kind of being overvalued in a lot of the numbers that I've seen. Like I said, I'd love to get down on the Busch Apple car. Chastain is he's a fun guy.
I'm buying the diecast. Yeah.
Yes. I've already pre-ordered the diecast. I don't care about the diecast stuff. Yeah. I want to make money this week. I don't want to spend the money. So I like that too. You've got a Wallace bet. I've got a Reddick bet. Let's just go all in on 23-11. I've got them over Team Penske at plus 125 over on Caesars. I like that they have those team matchups over there. I feel like we don't get those every week. And like I said, stage matchups also. I know Ryan Blaney won last year. I get that. He's a Penske car. I get that. But I'm much higher on Bubba and Reddick than I am on the 12 or anyone else from Penske. The 23 car, you were just talking about him, 9.7 average finish here, which is 5th best in the next gen. The last 2 ovals, he's been getting some confidence back, P6 and P4 on the last 2 ovals. And the man's got confidence. We always talk about how back when he first started 23-11, he was a terrible road course driver. Ran Xfinity races to try to be a better road course driver. He's gotten there. He had some speed, and he ran P12 last week south of the border.
Yeah.
He's feeling good. We already know the 45 is feeling good, and we know that Penske not always feeling good here. In terms of Cindric, his finishes, they're getting better as the years go on, but 31st to 23rd to 18th doesn't exactly inspire confidence. For Logano, had a P5 last year. The 2 years before that, 35th and 20th. He does have a win here all the way back in the Joe Gibbs racing days in 2012. So I don't really think they'll be a factor. It's basically Blaney.
It's Blaney. Yep.
It's Blaney versus Wallace or Reddick. I'm taking Wallace or Reddick over the 12 car. I'd be surprised if any of the others factor in here.
I like it at plus 125. I'm willing to make that bet. The only way you get beat is if Blaney goes out there and has another top 3 day here. That's kind of
no one has been worse at blowing days with good speed.
Yeah.
So
yeah. One more matchup for you, Elliot, before we get out of cup here.
Yep. Another way to bet Ty Gibbs is the 54 car over Chris Buescher at plus 105. There's just been nothing special about this place lately for Buescher. I know he got the fog win here, and I know a lot of times we're pretty high on the 17, especially over the 54 in a lot of cases.
Guilty's charge.
And there are times when it's good to be on Buescher. I feel like Pocono is not really that time. We're not right here, not right now against the 54. His next gen finishes again, getting better as the years go on, but P29, P18, and then P11. Still no top 10s here. And he's been inconsistent this year, and this is also a numbers thing. Gibbs is at plus 105. Buescher, the heavy favorite at minus 135. Yeah. It's not quite to misprice level, but I feel like with the stats and with the momentum, it's the 54 car on both of those.
Ty Gibbs 1 spot above Chris Buescher in the projections this week. And again, like
Perfect.
So I think you're there. And the other thing I like about Ty Gibbs against Buescher is, I mean, has a great record against him, right? Won that first year when he was subbing in for Chris Buescher against him, and then comes back, does it the next year, and then has that great run early, finishes terrible though after the engine goes. So that's like 2-1 against him at this track, and one of those is kind of an asterisk mark finish. So yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with that bet actually plus 105. It's a really great number.
I think it's a good number too. I've got one more for Cup. I don't know if we could have let off with this or if it's in the specials category, but I've been betting on the pole winner the last couple weeks, and that's how I'm getting invested in Alex Bowman this week at 20-1 on Bet365. These were only out on Bet365, so I'm almost kind of hoping there's a better number out there when we get the qualifying for the other books that do it. So I feel like it could be a longer number, but I feel like the 48's got the speed, and he's got some speed at Pocono. It's been a strong track for him in the next gen. P11 and 22. Was third last year, had an asterisk mark finish, getting spun out running in the top 5 or spinning out in 2023. They've had some unexpected qualifying speed this year. Normally, Alex Bowman and qualifying do not go together very well, but they won the pole at Homestead and Bristol. And last year, like I said, the multi round qualifying, round 1, round 2, things change. The 48 had the fastest lap, and that lap was faster than Ty Gibbs's pole winning lap that came from round 2. They've got the speed in qualifying, and they're not going out early. They actually had a decent finish last week, P4, and was kind of sort of hanging with Shane Van Gisbergen before SVG put on the full can of whoop ass there. Going out 4th to last, though, in the metric. We know that going out at the back end, for whatever reason, especially this year, I feel like we've heard about it a lot more this year. You got to go out late to get a good lap. 48, 4th to last. Speed at this track. I like the 48 to win the pole and start my weekend off on the plus side again.
I don't hate that. I'm definitely going to find a way to get invested in qualifying. I was going to kind of wait and see if maybe we can get some qualifying matchups. I know we had a couple of people in Pennsylvania hammer those when those were offered earlier in the season. So those got taken away from us out here, but it's Pocono, baby. Maybe they'll bring them back. But yeah, I like that call out there from Alex Bowman. What do you say we round out here with a little Xfinity and trucks?
Yeah, let's do it. We both got outrights, but I'll let you lead off from a past winner here at Pocono in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, give me our guy Austin Hill, man. Big country on the outright, plus 850 at FanDuel. I'm going about 0.8 of a unit, so I do like this line quite a bit. I think there's a very good chance that Gator ends up winning this just with the speed he's had.
Yeah.
I might still find a way to bet him. I just couldn't find it yet. It was just too short of a number with how Pocono is. And honestly, Gator's numbers aren't that great here. You know whose are, though? Austin Hill. 3 straight top 10s at Pocono, stage points in 5 of 6 stages in that span, and has led laps in every single one of those races. 5.3 average finish in that span. Last year at Pocono, Austin Hill, second in average running position, 6.2, and driver rating. The only guy who was better than him was Cole Custer, who's not in this series anymore. Tied for first in laps inside the top 15. 5th in green flag speed, 4th in speed by segment. And this all comes after starting a mediocre 11th as well. Factor in his P6 at Indy last year. I've seen him go for as low 7-1. So plus 850 at FanDuel with the cash out very much live from the drop the green flag. Feels great for our friend Big Country.
Yeah, that'll be solid. You mentioned about Allgaier. He had kind of an asterisk mark in 2023, though. He and Josh Berry getting together and crashing, I believe, battling for the lead, if not close to it.
Yes.
Pretty late in that race, that Austin Hill ended up winning. I like the bet, too. But another guy you mentioned that you're forgetting is Connor Zilisch. We know it's going to be a big storyline this weekend. You got Dale Jr. on the box. And for Zilisch, he hasn't raced at Pocono. You don't have those stats to go back on with these young kids who are just coming around. But lately for Zilisch, it's been pretty positive. P5 at Mexico City, he'll be pretty disappointed to have given that race up. That's a road course. We know Zilisch is going to also, like SVG, open the whoop ass on the road courses.
Yeah.
The last 3 ovals, though, we're not even counting his car winning the race with Kyle Larson when he missed at, I believe it was Texas. The last 3 ovals that Zilisch has been behind the wheel, leading on the final lap at Talladega before he got crashed. Second at Charlotte and second at Nashville, running down Allgaier there late. And like you said earlier in the show, we need just one more win to cash the generational Zilisch over bet. And what a time we would be to do it at Pocono, tricky triangle, Junebug calling the shots. It's just as much a stats bet as it is a vibes bet. So proceed with caution on that, but I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah, I like the number. I like the vibes. It's just Connor Zilisch, one of the toughest guys to handicap at ovals right now because you just don't have the data, right? You just don't know what you're going to get into. Like you can and for Pocono, it's tricky specifically because you don't have like comps you can go off really, right? So
Yep.
I totally get the play. I need more numbers for me, but I would not be surprised either if Zilisch is in victory lane too, with the speed that JRM has had here over the years.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You talk about handicapping, guys. Your two matchups here, you're really fading a guy, but I like both of these guys over this particular gentleman you're fading.
Mr. Jones and me. We're fading Brandon Jones, guys. We're back to it. Look, this guy, he's someone who always has a lot of speed here, and he just doesn't get the finishes. So maybe my favorite bet of the entire weekend, Sheldon Creed, -120 at BetRivers against Brandon Jones. And I was pretty surprised to see Sheldon Creed matched up against him here because every other book has him against Zilisch, who, again, I just said, huge wild card. I can't bet that. So I feel like this is almost like a tier separating these guys, and to have them match up feels pretty good. And the fact it's only at one book tells you maybe it shouldn't be out there. Creed loves this Pennsylvania water, just like Ty Gibbs does. 6.7 average finish in that same span. Brandon Jones, not quite as good. 12.3 average finish, nearly double that. And Haas factory team, formerly SHR, just seems to have a thing, or at least last year had a thing for these big flat tracks. Cole Custer won this race last year. Riley Herbst, P4 respectively in 2023. Also at Indy last year, these guys finished 1-2. That's our closest comp track. They combined to lead 77 of 100 laps. Tune won against him at Pocono. Now in much better equipment for this track, I would say as well. I think JGR equipment's still good, but they don't usually bring it to Pocono in the Xfinity series, which is weird because they do in Cup, but also 9-6 against him this season overall as well. So give me Creed against Jones. I don't think they should be matched up together. I wouldn't be surprised Brandon Jones has a good run, qualifies well off the truck, but I think he'll eventually drop back, and Sheldon Creed has that late run speed to pass him.
Yeah, and Creed, one of those guys that I'd almost be kind of sort of interested in the outright because the 0-0 won last year. It's just Creed has found every way possible to lose races.
Him and Mayer very live to win.
Yeah. I do like him though over Jones, just the same as Taylor Gray over Jones. Your next matchup.
Yeah, so same thing here. We kind of touched on Taylor Gray, absolute weapon right now. 3 top fives in all 5 Pocono runs in Xfinity and Truck Series. Starts here 1-0 against Brandon Jones in that span as well. And like we've kind of just like, as far as recent form goes, Taylor Gray's been awesome. 3 top 10s, 2 runners up in the past 6 races here, and has just looked really great, man. P11 at Darlington or at Dega as well. So he could have 4. Two of those were those runner-ups, 15.0 average finish. Brandon Jones, meanwhile, in that same span, has really fallen off since Darlington. Just 1 top 10, a P9 at Texas in his last 6 races, 17.7 average finish. So I'm just going with the hot hand and a guy I know that can get it done at Pocono against Brandon Jones. Like, let's just keep fading, baby.
Yeah, and I don't blame you at all. You talk about drivers in their tracks. We know that Jones and Darlington, they're pretty well paired together, but not so much else.
Jones did win here in truck one year, and you know, and people like said that on Twitter earlier when I put out this bet. But at the same time, I'm okay with it. Like that was long enough ago, and in a different life at this point. I think that was almost pre-COVID.
I might have been, and Jones either way has not been that great in the truck series. I got to hop on the Taylor Gray train too. Top 5 plus 175 over on Bet365. Taylor Gray and Pocono, they go together like peanut butter and jelly, or like Seth and a Busch Light. That's a joke you stole. Last year, had that double top 5 in truck and Xfinity, a guy who was kind of under my radar until he was able to put on those really good performances last year. 2 truck series starts here, a P3 and a P4. Additionally to that, or that was with the top 5. The outright is tempting me, but I don't want to go too heavy on these first time winners or too heavy on these guys that we don't have a lot of data for. We've got enough that I'm really confident in the top 5. But let's see how practice qualifying goes. Even if it goes down a little bit from what it is, I might take a little.
Agreed.
6-1, 7-1 on Taylor Gray. If he starts in the top 5, that might not be bad.
Yeah, I like Taylor Gray a lot this week, man. Good call out there. What do you say we get to the Truck Series place?
You got one more parlay here that I think we didn't touch on.
Oh, yeah.
I think you touched on the bets, but I made the graphic, so we're going to talk about it.
Limes are here, parlay of the week, baby. You know what we'll be drinking this weekend. I'm going with a similar play to Elliot here. Denny Hamlin outright plus 450. Sheldon Creed over Brandon Jones, the bet I just talked about. That's plus 912 at BetRivers. So that's just my way of getting a little more exposure to the Hamlin outright. And instead of the Heim outright, like in your parlay, I just have Creed over Brandon Jones.
Yeah, and they work too. The low numbers, you got to parlay them together. Like I said, more parlays to come this week. Especially, I've kind of forgotten about this at Dover. I had put a couple parlays together, and if Carson Quapple, or I think it wasn't the Quapple, it was I had the Truex brothers. That's what it was. Ryan Truex won.
Yes,
and I was rolling into Dover with like a 19-1.
Felt great. Yeah,
it was fun, and the parlays are fun, and we'll have more. The Truck Series is fun too. We don't get to talk enough about the Truck Series. I feel like that's going to be a fun race. We don't have any outrights out there right now. We do have a couple of top fives, and you have a matchup. So I'll let you lead off with your top five.
Yeah, still might be Bettenheim. We'll see. That might be post-practice and qualifying because I don't think that number can get any shorter. For here, give me Grant Enfinger top 5. Plus 210 ESPN bet. I saw him plus 200 other places. I saw him plus 180. So like the plus 210 here. Top 5 in the past 2 Pocono races with 2 different teams. Top 5 in 3 of 4 stages in that span as well. Last year, 3rd in average running position. 2nd among actives, tied with Corey Heim for the most laps inside the top 15, all 100% of them. Also 2nd in green flag speed late in a run, speed by segment, only to Corey Heim. Great recent form as well, coming off a runner-up finish at Michigan to give him his 5th straight top 10, average finish of 6.4 in that span. So makes it worth a 2-to-1 payout for a little finger action on Friday.
Yeah, we talk about impressions. I feel like there are a few drivers like Enfinger that the odds are just too long on. And that's definitely the case for Daniel Hemric this week. Well, plus 280 for a top 5 is a pretty long number. So it was a 25-to-1 outright for Daniel Hemric. I know he's Daniel Hemric and he doesn't win that often, but he got the win in the Truck Series. He's firmly locked into the playoffs. And we know that MHR has good enough trucks. He's got a top 10 here in every series. If you look at it, a decade ago, he was P9 in the trucks. He's got 2 top 5s and 5 top 10s in his 6 most recent Xfinity starts here. And you go all the way back to 2019, a P13 and a P7 in the 2 races when he was in the RCR number 8. He feels really undervalued because it's expected to be the Heim and Hocevar show, probably. Hocevar's number similar enough to Heim, but I don't really like either of them on their own for the outright. That's why I parlayed the Heim. We know MHR is consistent. We know that Hemric is consistent. We know that a 25-to-1 on a guy like this at a track like Pocono, an experienced driver, you did the same with Enfinger. I like the experienced guys at a place like Pocono. Hemric and Enfinger for a top 5, maybe battling up there for the win if something happens to Heim.
Yeah, I mean, we saw this truck be very, very fast here at Pocono last year with Eckes in it. So I'm totally with you. I think Hemric is a guy who, I don't know if he'll have the P3 that Eckes had last year, but I definitely think he'll have a good run here. So I think plus 280 is a great number to get on him. Round me out here, Elliot. Chandler Smith, minus 120 at DraftKings versus Caden Honeycutt. Another one that just feels like a strange matchup. I get that Honeycutt's been pretty good as of late, 7th in the standings. But he has an average finish of 22.5 here. Chandler Smith, he won here in 2022 and is in elite equipment, 2nd in points right now in the Truck Series. Best finish for Al Neese's equipment. You know me. I love me some Al Neese equipment. Yeah. But best finish for them the past 3 years. P5 from Ross in 2024. P5 from Hocevar in 2022. I don't think Honeycutt is nearly their level of skill that was able to get those trucks to those finishes. So Chandler Smith, minus 120, Caden Honeycutt. Love that matchup.
Yeah, me too. Chandler Smith, a guy kind of undervalued here as well. Yeah. Is outright somewhere 12 to 13-to-1. Books are pretty high on Lane Riggs. I don't remember him running spectacularly in the truck race last year, but books were high on him for sure. Chandler Smith, definitely. If you're going to take a front row car, I like Smith in any capacity.
Agreed. 100%. Well, Elliot, I think that's going to do it for us tonight on the Backroad, man. Been an absolute pleasure chopping it up with you. Excited to see you and the rest of the IBT family here up in Pocono this weekend. It's going to be a blast, man.
Yeah, man, it's going to be an exciting weekend up there. 3rd year running that we're having at the track coverage. And it starts tomorrow. We'll be there with Truck Series coverage, give you bonus shows on Saturday and Sunday, if not even a little something Friday. We'll see how it goes. Probably get through the Cup qualifying and stuff like that first. But regardless, it's going to be a heck of a weekend, just as it always is in the Tricky Triangle. If you're going to be up there, we'll try to come say hi to you. We'll try, maybe crack one of them bush apples with you after the race. We'll see. Either way, Pocono, great atmosphere, great time, great experience. It's going to be a fun one. Give it a like and subscribe, and we hope you support all our content this weekend because we certainly love doing it. We appreciate bringing it to you, and I can't wait for it, Seth.
Hey, man, excited for it so much. Blessed to be able to do this with you and the rest of the gang. And, yeah, hit us up, DM us on Twitter. Our what do you call them? Handles are right here on screen for you. DM us there. Hit us up in a comment in this video. Come join the Discord. Chat with us. Sweat it out with us live this weekend. Excited for it all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time here on the Backroad.
Yep. Thanks for taking a ride with us, and we'll see you the rest of the weekend from Pocono.